Hello everybody, my name is Don Glaske. I work for GoEngineer, and I'm going to talk to you today about DraftSight for 2D CAD users. It's an introduction, but it's mainly more so for people that have been 2D users of AutoCAD or any other 2D environment. So you're kind of already familiar with the 2D environment and the similarities and getting started and the benefits of. So I'm going to go from there. So with DraftSight, there are many different versions of it, meaning there's a professional, a premium, and then there's also a package which is called Enterprise Plus. The difference between the two, between Enterprise and regular DraftSight, is Enterprise Plus is a network version, and Enterprise, anything with the word Enterprise in it, is a start over here. So there's two different flavors of DraftSight. Start here. There are two different flavors of DraftSight. There's a professional and a premium. And then one is a standalone license you can get. You also can get network licensing. And you also can get a subscription. You can pay that way as well. But the professional and the premium standalone and the Enterprise Plus all have similar features in them. So the essentials here, what I'm going to show you is just kind of talk about them here, is they're included in all of the packages. Okay, the drawing tools, you can draw lines, arcs, circles, any type of geometry in there, very common. And then also you can modify, we can do move and copy and array and scale and trim, all that kind of stuff. And then there is dynamic block support. There's blocks where you can redefine the base point. You can create your own blocks. There's layer control. You also can print, batch print if you want to. There's a layer manager. There's layer previews. Of course, you can use your drawing templates that you have in your old AutoCAD system. So you just need to locate them currently. You also have overkill command that's in here where we call it discard duplicates. We'll get into that a little more where you can where we have our aliases, so you can type in either overkill or discard duplicates, and you can get that command to come on. You can also do SVG scalable icons. You also can do command line entry where it has auto, when you go down to your command line, and it has an auto filter too as well. You can type in as little as many letters that you need to find what you want, and you can activate the command from there. There's technical support included, community forum as well, and of course all licenses of DraftSight sold by GoEngineer. There are more DraftSight productivity tools. So what you see here is in the productivity tools, I'm just going to kind of show them to you. I'm not going to go through all of them here, but you get batch printing. You also get a mechanical toolbox where you can have smart hardware inside there that can call out whatever tap you put in. Those are blocks that are inside there. You also can do drawing, compare, and batch printing. There's many of them that you can do in here. Split dimensions, of course. You also can do, like I was talking about earlier, you can do auto completion commands. There's a dark mode now that was added in 2022. 2023 is out currently, but it is in there as well. You also can do associative patterns, and a couple at the bottom there. PDF import, that's in the premium and standalone, and then also Enterprise Plus, which are the network versions. And Sheet Manager comes with the premium versions, which is the premium standalone and Enterprise Plus. And real quick, so what Enterprise is a network version of the professional standalone. So you get the same tools and you get the same functionality. And Enterprise Plus is the premium version in a network seat. So just so you know, so anything that's in premium standalone is the same thing that's in Enterprise Plus, but in a network version. And file format. So we can open and create, modify file types. So DWG, DXF, SAT files. We can also export DWG, DXF, DWFX, EMF, PNGs, JPEGs, WMF files, SLDs, SVGs, EPS, TIFF, and then STLs. Okay, so, and of course we could save as a certain file type if we want to save down, and we'll get into that. I got another slide on that later. So if we want a common format we want to save as, we can also do that when we click the save button, but we always can right click and do a save as well. You have your identical commands. So your F buttons are the same that you're used to. So of course, E-snap, your command window, ISO toggle, your grid toggle, ortho, your snap toggles, your polar, and your E-track toggles. And also we have identical commands. So what you see here is CL for clean or purge. So purge in AutoCAD is what clean is inside DraftSight, but you can type in either or. That's where the aliases come in. You notice if I see clean there, I could type in purge or clean and get this box for me to do what I need to do. And these are just some other ones. Split is break command inside DraftSight. You can type in either split or break, and you'll get what you're looking for on this. Just like LI is for list and F is for fillet, all those, just showing you some examples. Here's some more examples. O for offset, RO for rotate, TR for trim. Different things you can do. Of course, we can layer control, freeze thaw, unlock, do all those. We also have a layer manager, which I'll show you a little later. We also can do rebuild and do notes. And these are just some of the identical commands. Here's some more when we get into lines as L, of course, C is circle, CO is copy, right? Spacebar, you can do enter, and X is for explode. These are just for you to look at and for purposes that if you want to take any notes, and this will be available on a PDF as well. Of course, your zoom buttons are very similar. So P for pan, you hit P and you enter, and you do that. And zoom window is ZW, so you can hit Z, then enter, and W and enter. And then also, of course, the zoom extents or middle mouse double click and you'll get that, or zoom previous as well. Here's some of your layer commands. I'm not going to go through all these, but they're here for you. And you can type those in if you're used to using the commands. More identical commands. If we want to do OSNAP, we can do the right click. We can get that. We can turn on certain specified toolbars as well, and also the eSnap. Here I want to show you the common look and feel for toolbars and menus. As you can see, there's a comparison of AutoCAD versus DraftSight. DraftSight on your right, and also AutoCAD on your left. So I just want to kind of show you this. This is kind of a look and feel of this. So if you take a look here, I'll play this video here just to kind of show you. So I get a pull down there, just very similar to what DraftSight's going to do. So I get commonalities that you see here is you can import, export, you can open, save, publish, print, of course, from here. And we can also batch plot from there as well on the AutoCAD side. So we have some where we get to our options, recent documents. And now if I compare the same thing on the DraftSight side, we'll see we have very similar and identical functionality as well. We can go here to create a new sheet, print. We can also do batch plot, same thing here. We also have properties where we can put properties in there that PDM will understand, and we can do a data card for PDM, which I want to mention, DraftSight is fully integratable inside PDM, so standard or professional. We can do that. We have save buttons up here, the print. You can add buttons in DraftSight to there if you want to add some buttons there, or however you want to customize that. Same thing here on the AutoCAD side, so very similar. Your buttons are very much the same. You'll see here next when I get into the ribbon tabs, you'll see that very similar. So home has, line, draw, modify, annotation. So it has that. We got layers, blocks, different things like that here. We can do groups. And we'll see on the other side, here we in the DraftSight side, is we have the draw tab with line, circle, Everything's very much, modify as well, and annotations and layers and properties and groups we can do as well. Okay. So that gets us into our user interface. We have the classic pull down menu where that's called the classic default. This is where we have our classic pull down menus. You see file, file edit, insert, format. We can have the classic pull down and add toolbars to it as well. So we have the ribbon style as what we just saw in that video. We have which is called drafting annotation inside DraftSight. We can have that ribbon style. There's them. Here's a compared again to each other. And if you look again now in 2023 AutoCAD, you'll see that you have very similar setup as well on the user interface. We also can create custom ones, custom interfaces as well. We also can go ahead and I'm showing you here where you can actually, the classic toolbar that you see here, you can actually right click and then this is where you can turn on your toolbars that you want. And you can add toolbars in the ribbon style and this classic user interface default style as well. You can drop and drag them wherever you want to. And you also can dock them as well. So if I right click up in here, and then that's where this is coming from. I get toolbars, and then toolbars, I can specify what I want. I can also customize and add them. And then all here, what I can do is once I get them where I want them, I can actually lock the toolbars. That's what this is showing here. So if I accidentally don't drop and drag them somewhere else. If I want to move them, I will need to unlock them, and then I get a few dots here. When he shows a few dots, then I can left click and drag it to wherever I want to. And then here's where we can specify toolbars, but this is where I was talking about earlier, where you can customize. So I click on customize, I can add a command, and I can filter search and add a command, and build toolbar myself. Alternate version, so we can save by default to say we're working with a customer that has 2008 AutoCAD or that version. We can save as a default down to 2008 in here. So between 2000, we save to this DWG. When I click the save button, at any time I can do file save as, and I get a litany of different ones that I could pick. Okay, and we'll see we go all the way back to R12 on here, so we go back pretty far to this as well. So this is where you would set it under your system, under options, under your system options, and open save as. And again, default types, when we want to open a DWG or DXF, we can choose. And then when we click save, it'll save to whatever version we click to there. But if we at any time, again, we can always click save as and then figure out what we want to save to a different version if we want to override that. Here we can reuse templates if you guys already have templates from AutoCAD. We just need, this is where it's located on your file locations and your options inside DraftSight. This is where it has where your templates are, your DWT files. You could either point to your new one here by double clicking on this and browsing to it and point to where it exists now, or you could add to this one whichever you want to do. And then if we right click, we get our graphics interface, so we can always right click and we can change this to what our right click commands are. But this is the one that's set here by default. So here's my repeat command. Here's cut and paste, and there are drafting options. Okay, so this is the one I just showed you, the right mouse button click, the RMB. If I do that, I get this. If I hold my shift key down, just like you do inside AutoCAD, I hold my shift key down and right mouse button click, I get a shortcut right to my snap, so I can, if I don't have one selected on my eSnap settings that I want to override, or I want to pick, maybe I don't have midpoint picked for my general eSnap, I can click on midpoint to actually get that if I don't want that on it by default. Okay. So inside here, I want to show you this. So what we'll see here is if we go here, we can pick on different. So here's the one I did customize. You can do different things. You also, here's your toolbars. You can drop and drag this around. Notice there's dots there, so when I want to go here and grab the toolbars, I can do that. I can turn on whatever I want here, and then click OK. And of course, I can drop and drag this wherever I want. Once I get that to where I want, I can then also lock it if I choose to do so. So here's my, you notice we get the little shortcut or the little filter command there, or the pop-up command that lets us know what that is if we hover over it. Which is just into identical keyboard shortcuts and commands. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. I just like to go in this a little deeper with alias commands. So what I can do here is I can actually go in and type what I'm used to. So we'll see we have shortcut keys and override keys. So these are for keyboard ones. These are just for the keyboards, just commands. So keyboards, here's what we have for default. Okay, we can also print this out if we want to. So we see here we have this is what copy clipboard is. That's what we would type, but Control C is the shortcut for this for the Windows base. So what we can do is we also can go here and look at our aliases. So I was talking about earlier, like clean is purge and purge is clean. So if we type in clean or purge, we get what we want. We want to actually purge the document of things that we don't want in there. Also, you can search under aliases list. So under user preferences and under aliases, we can then filter, search, or add new ones if we want to and customize them. We also have similar auto list commands as well. What we have in there is we have overkill, which is discard duplicates inside DraftSight. So we can type in overkill or discard duplicates, and we get the same functionality and the same reaction that we're looking for. And type in line command. I'm going to draw some lines here, and then we're going to do discard duplicates here. Okay. Do the same thing over here. There's my line. So you notice there's similar commands. Draw a line there. Click and enter, whatever I want to do. Okay, you can type in C for close as well if you wanted to close the geometry. So I'll just go ahead and select these and delete them. And I'm hitting my delete key. Same thing here. I can go here and click erase if I want to first, or just select them like I did over there earlier and just hit the key. So now I'm going to type in down here overkill. This is inside when I'm at AutoCAD. Remember, overkill gets rid of lines that are on top of lines. That never happens right in 2D. So we want to get rid of those. Okay, that's overkill. So you notice it found overlapping. Okay, detected. We got rid of them. We got the dialog box for that. And then if I go in here in the DraftSight side and I type in overkill, it's either overkill or discard duplicates. Remember, it's an alias, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to window select that as well. I'm going to get a window here, and it's going to do the same thing where I pick layer and the line and then kind of go from there. And notice it found overlapping. That I got rid of. So that's the beauty of that. So if you know AutoCAD, you know DraftSight. It's very similar. There are some differences, a little bit here and there, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same. What is also the same is we can also support list routines. So we can support list commands that are inside. So here's one I'm just going to load right from while I'm inside the application here. So I can load this application while I'm inside DraftSight. I could put it in my startup file, and when I start up the program, I can load all my list routines that I want loaded. So I can just type in flatten then, other than loading it here. But just show you different ways of doing it. So what you see here is I'm going to go ahead and do load. I'm going to do a flatten. And this one is one that's, I don't know, 97, I'm guessing, 96, 98, I'm guessing what it is. So that's if someone draws off into the Z quadrant, and I can't trim it or I can't connect the corners because it's off in a different direction. Flatten will actually get rid of those and actually put them on the X and Y for me. What also we have is batch printing. So there's batch printing that we can do. There's a lot of different avenues for this. So what we can see is there's multiple ways to get to it. We can go down where we actually go into our icon and go to print and do batch print from here. We, of course, can type batch print in the command manager. Down here in the bottom right, we also have the batch print. We can grab that as well. This is, I like to show this one because I zoomed in. Here's our explode command, and instead of a stick of dynamite, it's a bomb here inside DraftSight. So here's where I can go in the pull down menu, in that user interface. I also have a key up here, or a button up here for this as well. I can do that. I also can batch print from kind of anywhere. So this one's a little. Here is a batch print example of what we're looking at here. So go down here and you'll see that we have print from there, just like we are in AutoCAD. Here, this is AutoCAD showing you that. So I can batch print here. I can go and pick page setup. I can go here and load a list. I also can browse to wherever I want to. So I can grab folders or files, what I'm looking for. Here's some that are already loaded. I can do quantities. I can also go ahead and save that list if I want to. Then we can go here and do the same thing where I go to print and I can go batch print. Do you want to use the current one? So here, notice I have them here. I can add files, add a folder. I can import, I can save. I can also browse to wherever folder or files I want to get as well and go from there. So very similar to what you have as well. Now we're going to get into some DraftSight system options. So similarities that you're going to maybe want to change or where to find them. These are locations that we can go to find things that you're commonly used to using. So we'll see here we have where we want to, if we want to change the colors. So under in your system options, under display, under element colors, we can go and we have where we can actually pick different items here. So we can do the model background. So when they're in our model viewport, we can actually have that black or white, whatever color we want to that there. Also, some people, just so you know, on the cursors, we can change that cursor setting, the size of it also. But if they're normally green and red by default. But if we want to change them both to white or whatever color you want, you can do that here on these cursors here. So if I want to click on one of these, I can then change the color just like this. Okay, so I kind of like that, just what I was used to. Here's my cursor, and then also your display here under system on graphics area. The pointer side is set at 5%, so it's a small like kind of crosshair tick. I prefer 100% because I line up views this way, different things like that I'm used to doing. I prefer to do. So I make the cursor size, and notice I changed from the green and red colors to white, just whatever it was used to at the time, and it kind of stuck. So automatic save location, here our default where it automatically saves by default. Again, this is under your system options under auto save backup, and then you can enable auto save. I think by default it's set at 10, but you can change that to whatever. And also you can browse a different location if you want it to auto save in a different location, of course. Here's a big popular one. So under your user preferences, under mouse options, under options for mouse, we have reverse zoom wheel. Okay, if you leave it alone, don't touch it, it's just like AutoCAD, what you're used to. But for SolidWorks users, if you don't check this in SolidWorks, there's an option in SolidWorks to check this. If you check this in SolidWorks, it'll make it like AutoCAD or like DraftSight, okay, without this checked. So if you leave your SolidWorks users, if that's you, if you do not check this in your SolidWorks and you're used to the default scroll wheel that you zoom direction that you have on your scroll wheel on your mouse, and you want it to make it the same as SolidWorks, if you check this, you have the same roll in, roll out on your middle mouse for scrolling. So if you have the other one checked inside SolidWorks where you say, hey, reverse this, that makes it just like AutoCAD or like DraftSight. So you would not want to check this then. Okay. Coordinate system, that's if you want to turn this on or off. That's your coordinate system in the bottom left. Some people like it, some people hate it. This is where you can turn it off under drawing centers, under display, and under the coordinate system. Then also we have scale factor. We can do this when we're scaling different things inside the system. That's where you find it. Also here is metric or imperial, whichever you want to use. Here's where you can change this information. User interface, was added in 2022 is I can right click and then go to switch to UI style down here. Okay, and then this will come up and say, hey, user interface style will be updated once the program is restarted. Once you do that, when you come back inside here, you will see this as well. You will see now this is in this dark mode. And if I want to switch it back, which I'm doing here, I click switch user interface style, and then says when I close this and I restart, it'll come back as the previous gray settings that you see here. Okay, so this, you change it to the dark setting. And if we go here, here's where I want to show you a right click. Right click up here, and this is where you get to use inner final stains. And then you'll get that message that says, hey, you got to restart. Also, to get to where you're going, if there's not more than one way, there's multiple ways, right? If I go into my options, I right click and I get options. I click on options, takes me to my system options. I click on system options under display, user interface style. There's a light and a dark mode. I can toggle between them. Let's talk a little DraftSight data management. So as I mentioned earlier, DraftSight is fully integrated with SOLIDWORKS PDM, and that is standard and professional. This is something that is nice where we can actually, and then if you do have PDM, you can create a separate data card for your DWG or your DraftSight or DXF files. So if you want certain things that you want to search inside those and add, you can do that as well. I also want to mention, of course, there's a 3D experience DraftSight, so you can use the data management and the PLM on the cloud side of things. So you can also save your data up to the cloud with 3D experience for DraftSight, so that's available as well. DraftSight has a SOLIDWORKS electrical integration. So just so you know that you can take advantage of using DraftSight, where we can actually use it with SOLIDWORKS electrical. You can also edit, modify symbols using DraftSight by just right-clicking on them, and also you can go. The changes made in DraftSight will be saved to SOLIDWORKS electrical symbol library. So that's a very nice tool. It also can use to mark up electrical projects. You can use it for that. It allows you to use DraftSight document features to expand the capabilities of SOLIDWORKS electrical. So some more options and user preferences. I was talking about this one earlier. I have the light and dark, so remember that one's there. The other one we want to talk about is you hold the shift key down, you can override the ortho. So if you have ortho on where it goes vertical and horizontal, and you hold the shift key down, just like you do in SOLIDWORKS, users would know this, just like you do inside SOLIDWORKS, you can actually hold that down and override the ortho, which is vertical and horizontal inside the 3D environment. Also, keyboard, remember, same keyboard commands as AutoCAD. Remember, if you hit the C when you're drawing a sketch and you want to close the sketch off, it will do that when you hit the C command and hit return enter. You can export JPEG, PDF, PNG, SVG. Also, you can do save as, and you can save into those file formats. I got another thing on this here in a minute. And then also you can attach image files. You can do all those that you see there. And then also another shortcut is F4, which is like a recent documents. So it's just like you used to hitting the R inside SOLIDWORKS for recent documents. You hit F4, you get recent documents for DraftSight. DraftSight is a much lighter program. So for all these years AutoCAD's been around, they haven't done much house cleaning. So disk space is much smaller, as you can see. So AutoCAD versus DraftSight is a lot smaller. So we can see, and then RAM operating it is much smaller as well. Okay, much smaller. So keep that in mind. DraftSight's been around for many years. It's been over 10 for sure, probably 12 now, maybe 13. So it doesn't have all the baggage that AutoCAD has after all these years. Here's a review of the packages. We have DraftSight Professional, and DraftSight Premium, which are standalone versions of the product. And then we also have DraftSight Enterprise and DraftSight Enterprise Plus. Reminder that DraftSight Enterprise is the network version of DraftSight Professional as far as functionality and capabilities, and DraftSight Enterprise Plus is the network version of DraftSight Premium, the functionalities. Abilities, just in a network version.